Hey guys, as lots of you already know, we've made about 1,600 videos talking about all the amazing, wonderful and good things that are in Japan, and that's really easy for us to do because every day in Japan we see wonderful things that are really good and really amazing, and so it's very easy for us to make videos about those things and show you, particularly as we love Japan. Obviously we choose to live here. We could live many other countries, but we choose to live in Japan, so obviously we love Japan, which makes finding videos to show you about wonderful things really easy, because every day we see things, hey, that's cool, look at that, and make another video about it. So that's all fun. We enjoy doing it. It appears that some people enjoy watching those videos, so it's all good. However, there is some things that come up, of course, because like all countries, no country is perfect. I mean, for us, we think that Japan's as close as we can get to perfect, so that's why we live here. But of course no country is perfect. Every country has positive and negative things about it, and Japan's no different. It has positive and negative things as well. And quite often the negative things, or the less good things, come up, and usually from subscribers who will send us a message or ask us a question and say, I've heard about this, can you tell us about this? You know, I've heard there's discrimination in Japan, can you tell us about that? I've heard that, you know, women get discriminated against in Japan, can you tell us about that? And we don't like particularly addressing those topics because they're a bit uncomfortable for us to talk about, but also because we know the response that we get. Anytime we make a video about anything like that, we get a whole heap of negative response. We get negative comments. Some people get really upset about it and leave very negative comments. The videos get thumbed down, which doesn't really affect the video at all, but it's just not pleasant. And a whole heap of people unsubscribe. And we had that happen this week, earlier this week, when we made the video about the child porn in Japan. We lost 100 subscribers or something from that one, and it happens every time when we made the video about foreigners being discriminated against in Japan. When we make English-friendly videos, which is interesting, we make the English-friendly videos to show people the English-friendly businesses that are in Japan if they choose to use them. And we lose subscribers every time we make one of those as well. So it's a bit uncomfortable, but we feel that we have to do it because we know what it's like to be in love with Japan, and we know what it's like when you're first in love with Japan, and quite often what happens for people is when they first fall in love with Japan, it's like falling in love with a person. When they first fall in love with Japan, quite often it just seems like it's perfect, and because we've experienced this too. First few times you come to Japan, or the first few months you spend in Japan, first year, it just seems all perfect, and you just love it, and it's just like being in love with a person where you just think that everything about them's perfect and that, you know, there's nothing could be improved on. And a lot of people feel like that about Japan, and that's really good. And obviously that's why when we make videos saying different things, if we make a video saying that there is discrimination against foreigners in Japan, and there is discrimination against women in Japan, often, not always, and there are children being molested on the trains, and there are perverts in the streets flashing their private parts at little kids, and they're you know, the schools are putting out patrols on the streets now to try and stop that sort of pervert stuff happening. And whenever we talk about anything like this, people get really upset about it, because basically they're in love with this country, they think it's perfect, and if we say anything that's not, they get all upset. There's also some people that say, you know, you shouldn't try and change Japan, you shouldn't try and change it. And of course we're not trying to change anything. All we're doing is reporting on it, because we think that we need to, if we're going to report about Japan, if it's for people that are just interested in Japan who will never come here, we think that they still deserve to get the big picture. And that it wouldn't be right to make 1,600 positive videos about Japan showing all the wonderful stuff and not make any videos showing the other stuff. The other thing is that we know a lot of the people who watch our videos will come here, whether it be for a holiday or for a longer period of time. And quite often when they first arrive here, everything seems perfect, and maybe they spend a year here and it still seems perfect. That happens quite a lot. But we feel that we owe it to those people too to tell them the whole story before they spend a whole heap of money, because it's not for everybody. Quite often the things that we explain, people are fine with, and they go, oh well, okay, I accept there's discrimination, that's no problem, or I expect that there's a chance that, you know, I'm a girl and there's a chance I might get touched on the train, or, you know, there's things like that, and they might accept them. For other people, we often get comments on videos like that saying, it's good to know, I don't think I could do that. And that's doing that person a favour. If that person hears us talking about something about Japan that they know they couldn't deal with, you know, don't complain in Japan. If you complain in Japan, it's going to bring a whole heap of hassle down on you. And some people leave a comment and say, oh geez, I'm glad you told us that, thank you. And it gives the whole picture. It's the same as when we do first fall in love with a person. If we knew everything about that person when we first met them, we'd know whether they were a good choice or not, wouldn't we? And we feel it's the same with this. We're not trying to change anything about Japan, we're not complaining, and we've made videos explaining this before. Foreigners will never change Japan. It doesn't matter. Japanese people are interested in our opinions, but there's nothing a foreigner can do to change anything about Japan. It's not going to happen, and nor should it. And we've explained that in videos before. We've expressed that in videos before too. We don't think foreigners should try and change Japan, and we don't think they can anyway, even if they wanted to. So we're not trying to change anything, we're not complaining. Our videos are not complaining about anything, they're just pointing things out. And some of the stuff we point out is very hard for people to deal with, you know. We have Japanese family in Japan that include a bunch of young children. So if we talk about the problems that exist in Japan as far as child pornography and as far as children being molested on the trains and, you know, deviants driving around the streets flashing their private parts at them and dudes taking upskirt photos of little kids and all the other stuff that is going on here that isn't reported. Now this is, you know, we're just touching briefly on that last video. A lot of people said, you know, Japan has low sex crime rates and it shows that this pornography is all good. Well, actually what happens is, because of the way Japanese society works, all of the sex crime doesn't get reported. So the rapes and the molesting of kids and the feeling of girls on the train and that sort of stuff just doesn't get reported. Because for a whole heap of reasons. Socially, it's too embarrassing for the girls to report it, and their families, even if they tell their mothers and their fathers, they don't want to report it either because it's just too embarrassing for them and too uncomfortable for them, and quite often they don't know who the perpetrator was anyway. Some guy in a car or some guy on a train, and reporting it's not going to do any good. So all they do is just change their routine a little bit and take measures to stop it happening again by being a bit more careful, and that's it. You know, the patrols drive the streets here, the old men in their cars drive the streets here with the flashing light on the roof and the speaker saying, be careful of guys in parked cars. You know, please travel in groups because it's safer. It happens, it's the truth. It's the reality, and quite often with these videos when we make them talking about some of these difficult topics, we get people on there saying, look, I was in Japan for a year and I never saw any of this. Well, that's fantastic. And we're really happy. If someone comes here for a year and has no problems, then that's fantastic. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that discrimination against foreigners when it comes to renting an apartment, or discrimination against foreigners when it comes to getting a job, or a whole heap of other things, it doesn't mean that those things don't happen. Just because someone was here for a year or for 5 years and didn't experience it themselves doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And most of the things that we report to you guys, or if not all the things we report to you guys, we get from, not just from our own personal experiences here, but from the experiences of our friends and family here, our Japanese friends and family here, who tell us these things. You know, it's the sort of things that you won't read in a newspaper or see on the internet, but if you're sitting around a table with your Japanese family, they'll talk about it. You know, and if you're sitting around with your family around the table talking with your Japanese family about these things, you'll hear the guy driving down the street, the old guy with his flashing light on his roof with the PA system saying, girls, please travel in groups because there's some pedophiles floating around the area at the moment. Please, children, please go home before dark because there's some strange people in the neighbourhood at the moment. Or we know it's happening. So, you know, those people, first of all, there's a group of people who don't want to know these things exist, and we understand that. But it doesn't mean that Japan's not a wonderful place. Again, it's why we live here. Out of all the countries in the world that we could live in, we choose Japan because we love this place. We really, really love this place. And we think that the few negative things are far outweighed by the positive things. But it's still okay to talk about the negative things. It's important that we know them. Because if you don't know them and you come here to stay here for a year and you don't know anything about these things, when you find out about them, you'll be really disappointed. And that's often what happens. There's a very high percentage of people who come here to stay here for a year and go home after 3 months. I can't remember what the percentage is, but it's really high. And it's because people come here with this this fantasy idea of Japan being perfect, and then after a few months they find it's not true and they're really disappointed. Whereas if you come here with your eyes open and aware that there are some difficulties here, and you can adjust, the only thing you can do is deal with them. And if you look at our how-to videos, we've got 140 how-to videos. The whole idea of them is to give you guys a heads up so that we can adjust. We're not saying let's try and change Japan and make it different. What we're saying is these things exist in Japan, and when you come here you're going to have to adapt to them. That's what we're saying. So that when you come here, the way things are with the child porn, or the way things are with the discrimination, or the way things are with the other things that we've talked about, be aware of them and deal with them. That's what we're saying. We've made videos before saying don't complain. Anybody who's seen all our videos will have a perspective on this stuff and will know that that's what we consistently say. Don't complain. Don't complain to Japanese people about this stuff. Come here, understand it exists, and just deal with it quietly with yourself. You know, talk to your other foreign friends about it if you need to feel better about it. And we say this all the time. Don't try and change anything. Don't try and complain about anything. Just accept it. Just talking about it. You know, so we're going to continue to do it. It's killing our channel. Every time we address one of these topics we lose a whole heap of subscribers, and we get a whole heap of negative comments and a whole heap of thumbs down, and then usually after we've made a video like that, the next few videos we make about vending machines or positive things get lots of thumbs down on it as well, because of, you know, a few people have got their noses out of joint. And you know, but we're still going to continue to do it because we don't think we have any credibility if we only show you the good stuff. If we don't talk about the other stuff, we don't think we've got any credibility, you know. And look, we understand. We've experienced it before, seeing this place as being perfect, you know. And anybody that says anything different is really disappointing. But I think we just need to see that it's as perfect for some of us. This place is as perfect as it can get. It's not necessarily perfect, but it's as perfect as it can get, you know. But it's not perfect. It's not perfect. So we're going to continue to make hundreds of videos about how amazing and good Japan is, and we'll make the occasional one talking about the more difficult topics. So we hope that you guys can enjoy all of them, good and bad. More videos coming soon.